Hi everyone, you're welcome to the Cloud Journey HQ. This is Cyril, and if you're just joining this channel, please feel free to subscribe. And if you are already an old member, you're welcome back to this channel, and I wish you're going to learn something from this. So in today's video, I just want to share tiny content on how you can deploy a web server from a Windows-based virtual machine. All right, so let's dive into this. So I've already logged into my Azure portal, and what we need to do is to create a Windows Server VM. So right, let's go. For us to create a Windows Server VM, you can actually click on this hamburger navigation bar. It shows you the resource you want to use, or you could just type it in the global search, type virtual machines. So for here, we already have virtual machines. You can just click on this. It's going to give me a list of virtual machines. Then I click on create. So when we click on create virtual machines, we already have our resource group created. So I'm going to select the resource group again. I think we already have cloud resource group. Okay, it's not here at the moment. Clouds dash RG checked. Click. I'm going to call this a Windows a web server. Not Europe. The availability is no infrastructure. The security tab. I'm going to use standard. Okay, yes. So I want to use the Windows Server 2019. This is what I wanted. So yeah, so I'm selecting Windows Server 2019 at this point. Then since we've selected Windows 2019 at this point, the next thing we need to do is okay. Here we already have the size, the VM size. So this is fine, 4 gig RAM. Just for the sake of this video anyway, and because of the cost. So I don't want to deploy something much. So I could just use the web for the username and maybe my password. Then I'm going to replicate the password. Okay, so it's going to also ask for inbound rule. Yeah, so the inbound rule we already have allow port, which is 3389. I'm going to also allow 80. Yeah, just because I also want to access this virtual machine as a web server. All right. Okay, so I think the next thing we need to then click on is the next. Okay, so for the sake of this video, to save cost, I could take this premium SSD out, then maybe use a standard HDD for now. Yeah, for costs. I think the other thing we need to do, so aside the basic is the networking. I think the rest can be done later on because more like they are not really needed in this particular session. So let me work on the networking side of things. So yeah, so automatically it creates the virtual network by itself, the subnet by itself, and also public IP, which you also need to access the web server rather. So we already have the inbound route created. So yeah, so I think we are good to go. So we don't need to really do any stuff in this side here because of our time. We can just go straight to review and create, right? Then we're going to have our VM deployed by itself. All right, so this is going to take some time. So let's wait while it carried out the validation check. Okay, so now there's a problem here. It gave an error message. So I think we didn't do something here. So we just need to do this. I think he said that changing basic option may reset this. Okay, let's check this for the license and also confirm this. Okay, let's confirm again. So let's see what the validation check is going to look like at this point. So the moment it's done validating, it's going to give us approval to create the virtual machines and the deployment then commence. So now if you look at it, it's done validating because we didn't accept the license, right? So let's create the virtual machines now. So next time it's going to ask you for licensing before you create. All right, so now when we're done checking the license and creating, it's going to carry out the deployment now. First, it's going to create the virtual machines, create the VNet, the IP, Also allocate the disks. Then yeah, so you're gonna see them in the next step by it's proceeding with all those activities. All right, so the deployment stage is in progress at this time. So what we need to do now, once the deployment stage is set up completely, we need to test the public IP to see if it's actually a web page at the moment. Though it's not going to really give us any web page, but just to confirm what we are trying to do. So if you look at this properly, you notice that the NSG has been created, the IP address has been created, the virtual network, the network interface, then the VM itself. So all these are going to be created and they are going to be allocated in the Cloud RG resource group. Like I said earlier, the Cloud RG is the logical container that holds all the Microsoft resource that we are trying to deploy at the moment. So I'm going to show us once the resource is completed, then we can test the public IP for accessibility. Then after that, we check for the RDP session. Okay, so let's see. This is going to take some time. Okay, fine, it's done deployment. So let's go to the resource. It's done deployment. So yeah, so the VM is also started. You can see it started. The guest agent is not ready at this time. Yeah, that does not really matter because if you click on refresh, you could actually see that the guest agent can also populate as ready. For VM, you can also see access it, but let's refresh. If you also come here, let's see boot diagnostics just to check. It's going to give us more like a screenshot of the environment if it's booted properly or not. So you're going to see more like a screenshot environment showing that okay, this computer is about to boot or something. It's still coming up actually. So this is a new machine. Okay. Alright, so I think it's already showing now that it's booted. Okay, so let's go back to overview. Okay, then when you refresh, you notice that the guest agent also is ready. So it's actually fine to work with this machine at this moment. Now what we need to do is to check if we can access this IP address as a web page. Let's see, Ctrl V. So it's going to give an error message because it's a web server, but then it's not configured as a web server at this moment. So uh, the error message was expected. So let's go to network settings to confirm if we have our NSG rule set for port 80 as allowed in the priority list. So when we scroll here, we notice that we have the RDP, we also have HTTP 80. So in the priority for 300 and 320 is allowed for any. So let's um, leave this portion and let's go into the next portion of how we can then RDP into this machine. We've tested the IP address and confirmed that it can be reached. So for us to RDP, you can actually just come into your search bar and type remote desktop connection. It's going to open the interface for you. So I'm going to just come to options. Sorry. I already have my VMs open, so I think I may have to put in the IP address of the new one, right? So I'm going to press Ctrl V to paste the IP. Then it's going to try to connect with this new VM I just created. Okay, it's giving us the username and password. Remember, I used web for the username and I also have my password. So, okay. So now I've actually confirmed my password. It's gonna give me this authentication page. Said yes. So it's going to then open up for this. Yeah. So now it's already trying to load all the environments. You can see, yeah. So it's actually loading. It's trying to open the uh, Windows server that we just created, Windows 2019 web server we are trying to build from the Windows Server 2019 VM. Yeah, so it's creating these are VM and it's up and running. Everything is working fine. If you want to confirm that, you could actually just to know if it's Windows Server truly. So you can just press Windows R, then press WinVar. It's more like going to give you the version of your server, just in case you don't really know. So this is 2019 server. If you also type Windows, okay. If you also type Windows R, then let's say you say MSTSC, enter. It's also going to show us this remote desktop, just in case you don't want to type remote desktop next time. All right. Okay, so is a try Windows Admin Center. Okay. So let me cancel this. We don't really need this for now. So now the next thing is to just turn off any security and advanced security for now. So we don't really have issues with maybe Windows-based firewall blocking our VM. So I'm going to just turn off this Internet Explorer enhanced security configuration. So just in case we want to access browser and we don't want all those certification issues. All right. So now I'm going to go back to the dashboard once I'm done with that. Then what I need to do now is to install one of our rules that we need. So you click on rules and features, you click on next, rule based, click on next. This is the server we are trying to build our web server upon. Okay, so you'll just need to search for, okay, this is it, web server IIS, which is the Internet Information System. So you click on add features to add up. That's going to give us, you're going to install. Fine, it might take a while. So let's wait and just click next. Next, yeah, next. Then install. So just next, 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 and install. So it's going to take a while to install this application for us in the Windows server. But while this is installing, we could also maybe try to get maybe a simple a web page that we want to use for this deployment. So we could just visit maybe the browser and try to get just a simple HTML template we can use for the course of this video. And okay, so let me see if we can access free dash css.com. Let's see if we can get this template. Oh, okay, so we already have this opening, so we can just search for one simple template we want to use for this deployment. Latest CSS. Okay. Okay, let me just select one of the latest ones so we don't take time on this because it's so let me click on this. View CSS template. Okay, it's already giving us a page here. Get your design car and reasonable price. So I just want to download this. Let's just have like a working document for now. So I'm going to download this. Zip file is just 202.10 MB. So I'm gonna save in the download of my Windows server just for like a test. Okay, I don't know if it's done downloading. Let's see. Downloads. Oh, it's here already. So I'm going to extract this just to have it. Yeah, I'm just going to extract all of them just to have it available and accessible. So it's going to be ready for copying into that environment. Oh, okay. So this is what we have. And these are the assets. Okay, fine. Then it's cool then. Alright, so let's check what we actually started initially. So I just need to press this just to confirm. Okay, so this is the status at the moment. it shows that the installation is successful. So we can close this. You should see IIS in one of the lists here. Yeah, so this is it. IIS is installed. So now, since IIS is installed, if you want to also verify this, you could also come to, I don't think I need this now. You could just come to Windows E, your local machine, go to this PC, Windows C. Now look at this, we have the iNet pop. Then when you click, you see the www root. So when you double click on this, you see we have the IIS start and we have the IIS PNG image. So if you notice this is available, then you could actually access your VM as a web server now. So let's refresh this now and confirm. So it's trying to load the IIS page. So let's see what the output is going to look like on our browser, because the IIS is already installed on the Windows Server machine. So let's confirm what we have on our browser. Okay, still taking some time to. So let's see what we have. It's not coming up yet. Okay, so I think there's let's check. So I'm going to check something. Tools, IIS manager. So I just want to see the default browser because I just want to confirm if truly this browser exists. So the default web page we have on the sites, so default browser, then yeah. so default browser. So I'm going to just click on browse HTTP just to confirm the browser already exists. So let me see. Uh, explore. Okay, browse HTTP websites. Okay, so this is what we should see in our local host. So the IIS already exists. So let's confirm what we have again. Okay, so let's try to test run what we have created. We created a virtual machine, which is the web server 2019. Then this is the IP address to confirm the IIS if the IIS has been installed successfully. Yeah, so let's confirm. From the IIS, we did RDP into the VM and we noticed that from the Windows part, inet port pub www root, we have these two files. So these files are the web applications for the IIS interface. So now let's try to see how to access this particular web page. If we want to access, you can actually go to the local server. So this is it here. When you come to tools, then you come to the Internet Information Service Manager. It's going to populate these environments. You click on the web server, then you click on sites, then click on default sites. So under default sites, you could just click here to access your browser just to confirm what you have in your local machine. So here we have the local machine populating the IIS content on a web browser, which is the Internet Explorer. So if you see this, you notice that the local host is already populating the web server as Internet Information Services. Okay, so now for us to confirm what we have in our local host on a browser, what we need to do is to copy this public IP and ensure that we are not using the secured, so we are using the HTTP, not HTTPS. So I'm going to just enter. Now you see this, it's already showing us that the IIS Windows Server is already installed on your machine. So this is the browser environment that's showing that we already have the Windows machine as a Windows web server. All right, so now it's time to then convert the Windows server into our website that we already created. So all I need to do is to go back to this virtual machine. Then once I'm back there, I go to these uh, environments where I downloaded these templates. Then I'm going to copy all of them. Then I can locate this environment where the IIS content is, then delete it. Then after that, I paste it. I paste all of them into this particular part, which is the inet pub in the Windows C drive, then inside the www root. So once you do that, and you can also confirm that from your manager just to know that okay, your default website was populated. Just go to browse HTTP. Yeah, so when you click on browse HTTP, it's going to then populate the new website we created as our new website, which is the default. Then once you're done with that, you can minimize this, then refresh this browser page. So yeah, so this is the new web page we just created. We just created this website, and from templates from free-css.com. I'm going to drop it in the description box of this video. So should you want to create a template from scratch without starting from scratch, you can just use this, and this is our web page. The website is up and running just from the server. I believe you enjoyed this video. If you have any question, feel free to also comment, and I'll be glad to answer your questions. And if you also want a specific video, I'll also be glad to hear your feedback. So let's try this on our own and also share our feedback on how to deploy simple websites using the Windows Server virtual machines. Okay. Okay, so this is it. I think it had a HTTPS in front of it before. So yeah, we are able to just copy the IP without the HTTPS because we opened only the port for 80, right? So when we click on this, it populate this for us. So this is the website we already created, and just from the CSS snapshot we created. So how we were able to fix this was to ensure that it wasn't having the HTTPS in front of it, and that's how it was able to fix this issue. So we just paste the IP address. Let's also confirm from another browser to confirm what we have. Yeah, so when we take this HTTPS out and try to access from here, because of the port was 80, then we get to have this running. And so we already have our website running just from the Windows virtual machine. So this is how you can create your website from a Windows-based virtual machines. And the next video I'm going to share is how to create a website from a Linux-based virtual machines. So in case you have any question, please feel free to drop it in the comment section down below. I'll be glad to answer your questions. And don't also forget to like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube video. And see you in my next session. Thank you, and bye for now.